Today's collectible spot, we're having a look at the Rodenberry store Batleth Replica. Spot's currently just holding his camera in hand, just because the size of the box, as you can see, is pretty long. I would gauge the length of this box to be, say, maybe about 4.5 feet tall. There's not really much in the way of artwork on it. On the front of the box there is the Rodenberry logo there for Rodenberry's store, while the rest of the box is completely a shiny black. The back of the box, well, it's pretty much the exact same as the front. There's nothing different about it. If you guys are interested in getting this replica Batleth for your collection, I'll put the link down below. In the meantime though, Spot's going to take himself a break and get this completely out of box. When we come back though, we're going to get a better look at the Rodenberry store Batleth Replica. There's more anyway, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Just before we have a look at the base that comes included with the Batleth, it does also come with a certificate of authenticity. It says this certifies that Rodenberry prop replicas have been manufactured from high quality components and built using original prop specifications to a 1:1 scale. This prop has been inspected and verified as accurate to the master tooling. Down below, Eugene Rodenberry. So as mentioned, let's have a look at the base, and then we're going to have a look at the Batleth standing on top of that. Now I am doing this currently guerrilla style. I'm just kind of holding my camcorder because I just can't simply, I find with some of these larger pieces, get down and deep into some of the details that are on this. So I just figured I would forfeit the tripod in favor of just simply holding it, so I can probably get a better idea of what everything kind of looks like, especially the backlight, because it's going to be so large in size. Can't do it justice by simply just having a static tripod. I'm going to probably try to hold my camera for, I think, a little bit more of the larger reviews, just so you guys can get a better feel for it. So let's have a look at the display stand. Now the underside of the display stand is all felt, so luckily it won't scratch any of the surfaces that you're planning on putting the Batleth onto. While the back doesn't have anything on it, the front has the Klingon crest, which as you can see is raised from the surface of the display base. There's a little notch on the top where the Batleth will slide into place. I'll show you that in a second. Overall, nice looking display stand. I like how it's got that stone, sprayed stone work, like deco to it. Just kind of makes it feel like the Batleth is actually wedged inside stone. To attach the Batleth, simply just take one of the handles, as you can see right here, and wedge it into that little slot that's been placed at the top of the display stand. Now I know what you're thinking. You're saying, Spot, you're putting a lot of pressure on the top of the blade section. Aren't you worried about cutting yourself? Well, while the top is beveled like it should have a sharp edge, luckily the Batleth as a whole is not sharp, nor the points on the tips here are actually sharp or prickly. I guess in theory you could sharpen this, you could sharpen the points, you could sharpen the beveled edge to giving you an actual sharp weapon, but luckily the folks over at Rodenberry have kept this smooth enough that you're not going to cut yourself on it. That being said, I wouldn't still be rubbing my hand back and forth across the blade, just in case, but luckily the blade itself is not sharp. Right in between the side and the middle handle area here, you've got the Rodenberry embossed, it's not even so much embossed, but a printing over top of the metal itself. As for the handles themselves, they appear to be a wrapped faux, I want to say almost a faux suede, and they do feel like they could be unraveled. They probably have added a bit of an adhesive to it as they've wrapped it so that it will not come loose. The handle ends up giving you a nice soft grip. A soft, actually somewhat comforting grip to holding the Batleth. I don't feel as all like it's uncomfortable holding it, but it does have a real feel to it, as opposed to, for example, like the NECA piece that we had to look at before, where it was sculpted plastic. This by far is sculpted plastic. This is, I would say, again, a more, very similar to like a suede feel material. You can see though, this is probably why Spot wanted to hold his camera as opposed to just keeping it set on the tripod. because it's really, really hard to get everything on camera. Now this is a 1-to-1 scale bathlet, so it is fit perfectly for an adult warrior Klingon or a child learning the ways of holding the bathlet in the warrior way. It has also the appropriate amount of weight to it, being that it is also metal. Replica-wise, I would say it's as good as you're going to get to an actual screen-used replica, and it certainly has the real materials to boot. Quality-wise, I would say metal, like the metal that they've used, does feel thick. It doesn't feel flimsy. It doesn't feel like it's too pliable. It has a good sturdiness to it. The imaging, by the way, is the same on both sides. It is completely finished, as you can see on both sides there. And again, I feel like maybe not necessarily something that you're going to be role-playing with, because the value of these replicas are a little bit more expensive, but I certainly feel for a display purpose, you can't get anything better than this. Imagining this being on your mantle. This is, I guess, now Spot's second replica I picked up from Rodenberry's store, the first one being the tricorder. They are slated to release a bunch of other things as well, like phasers and communicators, which I'm really excited for the communicators and when they are eventually released. It's at a high ticket price, so it's not, again, something that I feel like if you want to get like a batleth where it is just something you could play around with, the NECA was a good choice because it's only about $30 or $40. This one is over the $100 price point. So I would say for this specific replica, this is probably something you're going to want to display on a shelf, maybe not necessarily something that you're going to be playing with. Spot will put the link down below to Rodenberry's store if you guys are interested in picking this up for yourself, or again, if you haven't had a chance, check out my review as well of the tricorder that I did from Next Generation. Both pieces very, very cool. One side, of course, being more for Starfleet. This piece here, clearly more Klingon. Today's collectible spot, though, we were having a look at the Rodenberry store. This was the Klingon 1-to-1 replica scale batleth. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more collectible spots heading your way. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.